الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله يا الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد إن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله عز وجل وأحسن الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة في الإسلام بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الحمد لله حمد النعم شكر الله. All the thanks and praise belong to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Al-Ni'mat al-Islam, Al-Ni'mat al-Iman, Al-Ni'mat al-Sunnah of Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The topic of today's khutbah will be revolving around one hadith of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam on the authority of Abdullah ibn Umar. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be pleased with him and his father, radiyallahu anhuma. He said, one day the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, while advising him, took him by his shoulder, brought him close, and he said, Kun fi dunya kanibari. O Abd al-Sabil, O Muhammad, be in this world as though you are a traveler or a person who is just passing by. This is an extremely essential hadith in the life of each and every Muslim. And this young lad, Abdullah, the son of Umar ibn Khattab, may Allah subhanahu be pleased with him and his father, how he took these words to heart. He interpreted it to mean that Rasulullah was elaborating and expressly explaining to him how we should live our lives, because he was young. At that time he was a teenager. And he interpreted this hadith by saying, إِذَا أَمْسَيْتَ فَلَا تَنْتَظِرْ الصَّبَاحَ إِذَا أَصْبَحْتَ فَلَا تَنْتَظِرْ الْمَسَاءَ. If you reach the evening, don't put off things until the morning. If you have things to do, do it. And if you wake up in the morning, don't put off things expecting to live. You have all day to do it. خُذْ مِنْ صَحَتِكَ لِمَرَضِكَ. Take from your good health to the time when you become ill. لِحَيَاتِكَ لِمَوْتِكَ. And from your life, from the time you will die and leave this world. So he understood. This mindset reinforces within us. This young lad understood, and he reinforced this mindset within us that we need to appreciate every waking moment of our lives. And as people of Iman, how do we understand and implement these ahadith and this advice in our lives? Because there are millions and millions upon millions of ahadith. But if we were to try and inculcate this statement into our lives, it would have a profound effect upon our lives. As the Rasulullah has stated in another profound hadith, because he was blessed, with Juam al-Kalim, that he would speak very short words that had an extremely profound impact. He said, in another authentic hadith in regard to this dunya, Inna dunya sijin al-mu'min wa jannat al-kafir. That this world, this dunya, is a prison, a cell block for the people of Iman, and a paradise for the people without Iman, without faith, for the kuffar, those who deny faith and reject faith. So my dear Iman, we might have heard or seen some of the instances that took place, that are taking place, have taken place in this year's Olympic Games. And many people are speaking about it online around the world. Multitudes of people are speaking about it. But as people of Iman, we need to really inculcate these statements of the Messenger of Allah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam into our hearts, into our lives. For example, when the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he said, "Min husn Islam al-mar, tarku ma la ya'ani." From a person's good Islam is that we leave alone that which does not concern us. So people have also approached me, said, "Ya Imam, why aren't you speaking about this? What is your take on this?" And I want to make it explicitly clear that me, alhamdulillah, I don't care about anything that's taking place with the Olympics. The fitting that people have heard and what they're seeing and what they're searching about, I don't care. Why should we care? How is it going to affect our lives? We, my dear man, we have to understand that we will hear and we will witness various types of fitting, plural, of fitna, trials, tribulations, ordeals. But when we put those things on the scales of the Quran and Sunnah, is when we have to evaluate ourselves and really think, why am I speaking about these things? Why am I involving myself in these things? Because in the times that we're living in and the times to come, it would be extremely difficult for us to be able to distinguish between that which is right and that which is wrong. Because if we get into the habit of trying to defend religious values, family values, they're going to say you're old-fashioned. They're going to be gaslighting us as if we are majnoon. We're old-fashioned. So why are we going to get involved in speaking about popular culture? We need to be with the people of Iman. The people who we speak to, we should have similar interests. We shouldn't be thinking about trying to convert the world when our backyards are messed up. We need to be with the people of the Quran and Sunnah, the people of Iman, and stop following popular culture. We don't have to speak about everything that takes place so as to try and seem that we're in the now. We're in the know, or we're trying to be relevant about what's happening in the world. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. In the end, my dear brothers and man, we're only going to be labeled. They might be just listening to us, but in the end, they're only going to label us as backwards, as old-fashioned. And the list goes on and on and on. And there are many ahadith that allude to the point that we need to be the people of Iman. And we need to be accompanying ourselves with the people of Iman. People who love the Quran, who love the Sunnah, who love the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who don't like fahisha, who don't try to justify these issues, and try to be super inclusive. This is the word of the century, of the decade. Inclusivity. There are many ahadith that remind us of the importance of being a part of the Ta'ifat al-Mansura, the Firqat al-Najiyah, the saved sect. For example, in the Sahihain, there's a hadith that the Messenger of Allah had stated, لا تزال طائفة من أمتي ظاهرين على الحق لا يضر من خالفهم ولا من خالفهم حتى يأتي أمر الله هم كذلك. There will always be a group of my ummah adhering to the truth. They will not be harmed by anyone who goes against them or those who label or forsake them until Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brings about His amr, His decision. Also in Sahih Muslim, Abu Hurairah reported the Messenger of Allah said, Sinfan, another hadith in regards to the people of the Sunnah, he said sallallahu alaihi wasallam that hatta ya'ti amrullah hum kadhalik, until the order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes, and they will always be remaining as a group upon the truth. Also another report is Sahih Muslim, hatta yuqatiluna ad-dajjal. Also it's a Muslim, this group, Ta'ifat al-Mansura, will always remain on the truth until they are the truth. They are the group that fights against the Dajjal, the one-eyed liar. Also, in Sahih of Imam Muslim, the Messenger of Allah has stated regarding this Ta'ifat al-Mansura, Firqat al-Najiyah, Hatta yunzil Isa ibn Maryam, وهم ظاهرون, until Isa ibn Maryam descends, returns back to this earth, and they will remain the same. They will be just like that. They will be solid individuals. They don't change with time. Isa ibn Maryam will be returning. The Nasara, they believe and they have faith. There's a group of them that believes in the second coming. And we know that he will return. And he will be with the Ta'ifat al-Mansura, the same sect. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us one of them. Make him come down and may us be ready for his return. We have to understand when the Messenger of Allah took this young man by his shoulder and he advised him by saying, كن في الدنيا كأنك غريب وعابر سبيل. Be in this world as a stranger, or as we say, someone who's just passing through. When we hear about things, or we visit a place or people, and we hear about their controversy, we might get wind of it. So, you know what? I'm just passing through. I'm not from here. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for y'all. This is what we say. What this means is that we shouldn't become so emotionally involved in what's happening. We have to understand, man, that a lot of weird things are going to be taking place. Qabla, before the advent of the Dajjal. And those people of Hadith have explained to us that the Messiah Dajjal is Majud al-An, that he is alive and well today, chained up. And he will slowly be released into the world when fasad, when fitna has become widespread and rampant in the world. So my dear man, we shouldn't be quick to judge, and we shouldn't be emotionally involved and invested in everything that is taking place in the world, because we don't know how we would respond or react if we're involved in a similar situation. Because when we hear about these different sorts of fitna, how do we think? And how do we respond? How do we think about ourselves and our families, and how should we respond? We should be thinking that the Messiah Dajjal will soon be released. And I'm freaking out about what's taking place in a completely different part of the world. And I have problems in my own backyard that I can't rectify. And I'm getting into heated debates about issues that have nothing to do with me. They will have no effect on my life. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. There are many signs before the coming of the last day. Abraham who reported that, Messenger of Allah he has said it. Badiru il amal salihah. Be hasty to do good deeds. You need to be in a haste to do good deeds, my dear man, before the fitna spreads like the night, like darkness spreads over the night. And he said that the fitna will be spread so much that there will be excessive amounts of killing. My dear man, if we are so much invested in what's happening in the Olympics, and we're not aware that these things are part and parcel of the signs of the time, then we really need to go back and check ourselves and check our sources of Iman and understand our Aqidah well enough to be able to distinguish between these signs, to be able to realize that the times are growing near to Akhir Zaman. There's a hadith in Sahih of Imam Bukhari that confirms this, that the Prophet ﷺ had said, "Ma taraktukum ba'di fitna adharru ala rijal min an-nisa." But I have not left a fitna more difficult on the men than women. Also, it's a Muslim. A person who reported that the Rasul ﷺ said, "Sinfan min ahlinar lam arahuma." There are two categories of people of the hellfire that I have not seen. The Rasul ﷺ is saying that because they were non-existent. He received this information through wahi, revelation. And he said that they are one who are going around with whips. One group, category of people, are those who will be going around with whips, the Drabuna Nas. And he said that there will be women who will be dressed, yet they will be naked. The Prophet ﷺ said that these categories of people They were non-existent at that time. But we see them today. We see them today, plain as day. And the more we see it, we become desensitized to it. It becomes nothing to us. But dear Pastor Man, we have to understand that nakedness is a fitna. And we're seeing this everywhere on a daily basis, especially in the summertime, on the roads. But we're tuning into these things, not being able to distinguish between the genders. My dear Pastor Man, if we're not able to understand that these are the signs of the time, then we really and truly need a wake-up call. My dear Pastor Man, will we be strong enough when the fitna of the Dajjal comes? My dear Pastor Man, will we be strong enough when the fitna of the Dajjal comes and it spreads all over the world? My dear Pastor Man, we have to understand that the Dajjal is the greatest fitna, but there will be many types of fitna that will be affecting us. Right now, we have Muslims, good Muslims, online, in person, in coffee shops, discussing these issues of what took place, or what is taking place in the Olympics. That we're seeing men who are dressed like women, who are acting effeminate. And we have discussions now, heated discussions and debates regarding should biological men be permitted to go up against and compete against biological women in sports, such as boxing, for example. This is a heated debate and a discussion that we are having today. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. We as people of Iman, we shouldn't waste our time with this nonsense. As the Noble Sheikh Muhammad Nasruddin Albani has stated, La dam barakuf, that there is no sin after the sin of disbelief. Many people don't believe in anything but themselves or their rights to choose. So my dear Pastor Iman, it's imperative upon us as people of Iman to resist the present day trials and fitting that we are experiencing in the days are here and the days that are ahead of us. But to understand that the Messenger of Allah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam had said that these types of fitna, of nakedness, is one type of fitna. But for us to be examining the genitalia and to look and to find out, is this a man or is this a woman? La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. If we're so taken away by examining these types of fitting at this time, then where will we be when the Dajjal comes? Will we have enough iman to resist those fitting, or will we be like everybody else? Or will we be taken away just like everybody else? My dear Muslim iman, the Messenger of Allah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, in Akhir Zaman, which we're living in, that a man will wake up as a Muslim, despite Muslim, and go to bed as a kafir. A man will wake up as a kafir and go to bed as a Muslim. يُبِيعَ دِينُهُ بِأَرْضٍ مِنَ الدُّنْيَا. He will end up selling his deen for a small portion of this world. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us all safe. Bismillah, salatu salam ala Rasulullah wa ala alihi wa sallam. My dear Muslim Iman, there are so many things that are happening in the world today, and we shouldn't be so invested in what's happening. We shouldn't become so emotionally invested in what's happening to show as if we are relevant and we're up to date to what's going on in the world. We don't need to do all of that. There's so much fitna that's taking place. That's why the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, for those who are coming in late, the subject of today's khutbah was revolving around one hadith, where the Messenger of Allah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam advised Abdullah ibn Umar, the son of Umar ibn Khattab, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be pleased with him and his father. He held him by his shoulder and he said, Kun fi dunya kanakha gharib, O Abra Sabir. Be in this world like a stranger or someone who's just passing through. We don't have to be so emotionally invested in every single thing that's happening in the world. Many of us ask such petty and small questions, yet we're having a difficult time praying our comes to salawat. When we hear of different and various types of fitna, when was the last time that we reflected that there'll be even greater fitna that's taking place? You have to understand that Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he prophesied that the world will be filled with various types of fitna before the release of the Dajjal. There will be several various types of strange events that will be taking place before the release of the Dajjal. So we shouldn't be overly invested and consumed with the events that are taking place in the Olympics today, or what's happening in the world. Lakum dinakum waliyadin. For those, their way, and for us, our way. We need to have the izzah. We need to be happy. We need to be proud that we are Muslim. Which is why we shouldn't take our time to be invested in pop culture and wasting our time towards to distinguish, is this a biological man or is this a female? Is that a man or is that a woman? Let me take a closer look to find out. Should we allow men, biological men, to compete against women in sports like boxing? Should we get into these conversations? Nah, we don't have time to waste. We need to correct ourselves. We need to fix our own homes instead of wasting our energy into this. And in the end, they're going to label us as backwards. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Rather, we need to stay closer to the people of Quran and Sunnah. Those people who will remind us to pray. Those people who remind us to remember Allah, to make the dhikr of Allah, and to take care of those in our homes. In closing, I want to share this last hadith on the authority of Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, reported that the Messenger of Allah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam had stated, Inna dunya halwatun khudirat, Inna Allah mustakhlifukum fiha, wa yanduru kayfa ta'amalun, wa taqa dunya wa taqa nisa. Fin awwal fitna Bani Israel kana fi nisa. The world is sweet and green, yani it's alluring. And verily Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had installed and instilled within us vicegerency on this earth. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching us. So we need to watch and see how we act on this earth. So we need to avoid the allurements of this world. وَاتَّقِ الدُّنْيَا وَاتَّقِ النِّسَاءِ. We need to watch out for the allurements of this world that are sweet and green, and the fitna, the allurements of the women. Because verily, the first trial for Bani Israel was by way of the women. My dear Iman, we have a lot of opportunities to learn, to seek knowledge online. There's many websites or many ways that we can learn and seek beneficial knowledge online. Let us not take our valuable time searching to find out if this is allowed. Is this person a biological male? Is this person a female? This is all mana yani, things that will not benefit us in any way in dunya or in akhirah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy on our brothers and sisters who are fighting in the Gaza Strip. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help our brothers and sisters who are struggling in Sudan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help our brothers and sisters who are struggling in Afghanistan, في كشمير. بكل مكان يا رب العالمين. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا الذين آمنوا اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة. الصلاة